Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's February 9th, 2017. Today and last evening, one of the big news headlines has been Charles Oakley, the former NBA basketball player, being arrested in New York City at Madison Square Garden watching a New York Knicks game. The story is that he was sitting behind the owner of the team, who apparently he didn't get along with, and made remarks that had security come and ask him to leave, which began a pushing and shoving match. What I'm going to show you in this video is that this story was planned. This story is purposeful propaganda that Charles Oakley, the owner of the New York Knicks, are participating in. And the reason for this propaganda, as sad as it is to reinforce widespread cultural stereotypes that already exist. For decades, the mainstream media has programmed people to believe that black men are dangerous, violent, a threat. This is what this story is about. Charles Oakley is being used to perpetuate these stereotypes. There's no reason for this to be a news story. Nobody needs to know about this. If this were a real news story, nobody would need to know about it. This story doesn't have any relevance to anyone's life. There's a reason it's put out there. There's a reason it becomes viral news. There's a reason everyone's buzzing about it. I'm making this video because in the last 24 hours, there's been 50 requests for me to make this video. And I want to show people why this happened February 8th, 2017. If you're new to my channel, we talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, which to a lot of people, no matter how clearly it's explained to them, they think it's insane, even though it's a practice thousands of years old that's been used by people in high places. And if you have an open mind and can listen, you will understand that what I am showing is something that the mainstream media does every single day. They create news propaganda by the numbers to program people. You know, yesterday they took a programming moment to reinforce a racist cultural stereotype. And we live in a very racist, stereotypical society. And I'm going to talk more about that at the end of this video. But first, I want to educate you on why this happened yesterday, February 8th, the 39th day of the year in New York City. I've been doing this work for over 3 years. For over 3 years, I've been explaining how significant 39 is to New York. Let me explain it one more time. In the language of gematria, New York equals 39, as does empire, New York the empire state. The United Nations in New York is 39 floors tall. The word security equals 39. Security had to take out Charles Oakley from Madison Square Garden. Notice the name Madison has gematria of 39. We're going to talk about the 39 proposals that Madison made that became the 10 Bill of Rights. He did it on a date with 39 numerology. We'll talk about why 39. The name George is the name of the first governor of New York. That was George Clinton, who was born in 1739. He was vice president to Madison. George 39, born in 1739. Here we're talking about Charles Oakley being arrested on the 39th day of the year. Charles, MSG for Madison Square Garden 39, just like NY 39. These three methods of gematria, all interrelated on the alphabetic order. Very simple to learn. Down below my How to Gematria video. You can learn this skill in 5 minutes. Very simple. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26, with just a couple more things you need to know. New York, the date of its establishment, July 26, 1788. Date with 39 numerology, 7 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8, 39. New York 39, date of establishment 39, United Nations 39 floors tall. Every single New York Super Bowl won. 4 by the Giants, 1 by the Jets, all connected to 39. See my video from the beginning of this season, New York and 39, big number there. So here's James Madison. James Madison made 39 proposals on June 8th, 1789 that became the Bill of Rights. His 39 proposals were on a date with 39 numerology. The name Madison equals 39. His 39 proposals became the 10 Bill of Rights. When you write out 10, it sums to 39. For you New York football fans, Eli Apple was drafted number 10 overall this past draft. I predicted more than a month before the draft that he would be the number 10 pick for a few reasons. But anyway, 10, 39, G-Min equals 39 for you Giants fans. In the Old Testament of the Bible, the opening part, the Jewish part, it's 39 books. 39 books in the Old Testament. That's where the story of Moses and the 10 Commandments come from. A story of laws. The United States of America, what a lot of people don't know, is it's a nation that was founded by Freemasons, Jewish bankers, entities that are aware of this language of gematria, numbers, the significance of numbers. And all throughout history, this nation, it has been an ongoing story day after day, contrived by the numbers. When you read our history books, you see that this is true. And this number 39, it's been one of the most important. Read about the original signers. 39 comes up again and again in history. This is why this story comes on the 39th day of the year. New York specific, security specific, legal system specific. He's arrested. Former basketball player put in jail, So Charles Oakley, his date of birth, December 18th, 1963. That's a date with 93 numerology, the reflection of 39. You know that new building they built in New York, and they called it One World Trade Center? It equals 93. 93. Think about the 93 World Trade Center bombing. If you read the 9/11 Commission report, the first plane on 9/11 hit floors 93 through 99. There was flight 93 of 33 passengers that day. So much more. One World Trade Center, they made 104 stories tall. Here's why. 1776, the year this nation was established. 17 plus 76 is 93, okay? If you take the full date, the numerology, it's 104. One World Trade Center is 104 stories tall, 1,776 feet. You see? Plus 93 for the name gematria. Anyway, 93, very important number. This incident came 93 days before the owner's birthday, which we'll get to. Here is the owner, James L. Dolan, born May 11th, 1955. Bob Marley died on that date in 1981. I want to show you something about the name Bob Marley real quick in this language of gematria. Two very important formats here using the alphabetic order. Oh, notice that Bob Marley in gematria sums to 93. The name Marley alone's 74. The name Bob alone's 19. His solo career began in 1974. Bob Marley died on May 11th. May 11th, this owner's birthday. May 11th, 5/11, kind of like 511. Notice that Saturn, which is the keeper of time, has the numbers 93 and 511. These numbers get paired together again and again and again. They were coded into Donald Trump's run for president. Another story. His campaign lasted exactly 511 days, took office with the 115th Congress. He's the 45th president, the sum of the magic square of Saturn. Anyway, from the incident February 8th to the owner's birthday, 93 days, number for Saturn, the keeper of time. His birthday is May 11th. Bob Marley, 93, once died on this day. Peter Tosh also died by the numbers of Saturn. I noticed the owner's also 61 years old. If you write out 39 in gematria, it sums to 61. For you New York sports fans, Roger Maris in 61 set the record with 61 home runs. He hit it off the pitcher wearing number 39. Number 61 hit off the pitcher wearing 39. You see? So anyway, 93 in Charles Oakley's birth numerology, 93 days before the owner's birthday. All of this is in New York. Gematria for Saturn. Saturn is the keeper of time. The Knicks, their full name is the Knickerbockers, which has gematria of 144, number for time in Jewish gematria. Time is also 47 in simple English, and the date numerology of this incident was a date with 47 numerology. So this story, a tribute to time, Saturn orbiting in cycles, the media doing the same thing, programming people in cycles with purposeful propaganda by the numbers, reinforcing stereotypes. And the media reinforces stereotypes against all groups because that's what the game is, to keep everybody fighting and hating each other over nonsense. Remember the one group of people the media protects. What's the one group you see protected most in the media when it comes to racism and hate? Most of you should know the answer. It's the same group of people who run the media, So anyway, Bleacher Report. I haven't mentioned this about Charles Oakley yet. He, in his basketball career, was known as a fighter. That's part of the reason he's also being used. He has the numbers. He was known as a fighter. Did I put it up here? Oh, I forgot to mention this. This is also interesting about Charles Oakley. Speaking of him being known as a fighter, he's currently 53 years old, and this incident came a span of 53 days from his 53rd birthday. The word fighting, using the English reduction method, sums to 53. 53 days from his 53rd birthday, known as being a fighter. Bleacher Report just put up this article going along with what just happened to him, reminding of his fights from the past. We can just watch this clip real quick. I want you to notice how Charles Oakley wore the number 34. They get in a clip of him fighting Xavier McDaniel here in a moment, who also wore 34. We're going to talk about why they chose these clips with 34. Here we go.
Last year, Charles Oakley of the Knicks and Karl Malone of Utah expressed something less than holiday spirit towards each other. The referees quickly whistled no mas because on Saturday night at the Garden, Charles Oakley advanced his reputation as NBA tough guy as a result of his fourth quarter tussle with Seattle's Xavier McDaniel. A reputation such as this is expensive to maintain, $7,500 each and a one-game suspension effective.
Keep in mind, basketball, hockey, 82-game seasons, they run parallel to each other. Back then, hockey allowed the fighting. Basketball, there used to be more tough guys in the early 90s, late 80s. Charles Oakley's part of that. That was all part of the show, That's all part of the reason people watch. They like the entertainment. They like the tension. They like the rivalry. But anyway, 53 days from his 53rd birthday, the word fighting 53, plus all this 39, 93 Saturn time stuff. As for the 34 clip with him and McDaniel, James L. Dolan, what the owner of the team goes by, James L. Dolan equals 34. So, that's the lesson, truth seeker. Purposeful propaganda, programming cultural stereotypes. And for all of you who don't think we live in a racist society, let me tell you a story from real life today. I uploaded that video earlier today, about Lady Gaga, rigged Super Bowl by the numbers. And I had plans from last week to meet my friend at noon at a restaurant nearby. I had to return something to him, and since he helped me out, I was going to buy him lunch. The restaurant that we agreed to meet at is close to where he lives. So it was a little bit of a drive for me, real close to where he lives. He had to drive like a mile, I had to drive 10 miles. As I was coming up to the restaurant, I noticed that there was a police car in front of the restaurant with his sirens on. And I thought, I wonder what's going on. He's right in front of the restaurant I'm about to eat at. And I parked my car and I was walking up to the restaurant and I noticed that the police officer was pulled in behind my friend. My friend was in his car. And I said, "What's up, man? What's he got you pulled over for?" I knew that my friend lived close to the restaurant, so this is like, how's this scenario even come up? And he says my brake light's out right now. So this police officer, he pulled him over, not because either of his main brake lights were out, your left and right, down by your bumper, your main brake lights, not because those were out. He pulled him over because the light that's up ahead, that's optional. Some cars don't even have a brake light up on the glass, in the back. That's the one that was out. So he got pulled over going into this parking lot. He said that the officer didn't even turn the lights on until after he went into the parking lot. And my friend's black, I guarantee you any white person would not get pulled over for that. It's just a joke, and then he got a ticket for it. I told him, man, you got to look that up. I don't even know if that's the state law that you have to have that brake light working, because that's just like a bonus brake light. A lot of cars don't even have that. It's just such a joke, And the officer, he was white with his head shaved. He looked like a skinhead. And a lot of these police officers are. They always have been. They're all part of the establishment that maintain the stereotypes, perpetuate the system that targets the poorest of people. And in this nation, that's a lot of the black people. It really is. It's more about class than race, but race is real too, So anyway, if you had a bad day today, truth seeker, hang in there. A lot of people in the world had a bad day today. Just talked about my friend, I talked about in my video earlier today, I talked about me and my sister. Another one of my friends today, he just had to stop by and he needed me to give him some gas money because his wife just kicked him out of the house and he has to get to be somewhere else. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the world today. Rough day, truth seeker. Keep the chin up. Charles Oakley, if you see this video, let the people know you sold him out. Charles Oakley, I don't know if it's blackmail, if he gets paid to do this, if it's just part of the contract. Maybe he gets a threat, maybe it's do this or else. But even if it's do this or else, people got to stop saving their own ass. Don't go get yourself arrested on TV to shame, be part of the purposeful. You know what I'm saying? It's just learn your gematria, people. How to gematria down in the description. The Gematrinator calculator, I'll link that. When you come here, it loads up 6 methods for you. You should know this when you first come to the website. The methods that you really want to know to start, you can just close these 3 down here. These 3 are your bread and butter. You start right there, you're going to unfold a lot, This is where I started, just these 2, once upon a time. I only knew about these 2 when I started this channel. Part of how I predicted that the Mets would be in the 111th World Series in spring training. I thought they were going to win it, but they made it and lost to the Royals. Everyone said that pick was crazy. I said, nah, these sports are all rigged by the numbers, and I explained why it would be the Mets, not the Yankees. The 111th World Series. Also, before Game 3, I said look for a score, possibly a 3-9. The only game that the Mets won in that World Series, they won it 9-3. But anyway, when I started, I just noticed that New York and NY were 39. I noticed that the United Nations was 39 floors tall. I noticed the date of establishment, July 26, 1788. Date with 39 numerology. I noticed the first governor, George Clinton, born in 39, George 39. Noticed the thing with Madison, the 39 proposals. That's where I started 3 years ago, just presenting things like that. And I thought that kind of information was just so amazing and powerful. I thought just even back then when my presentation was so much more simple that it would take off. But here we are 3 years later and I've just been documenting how these things happen again and again and again. I don't know how people can think it's a coincidence. Why do you think the United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall? Why do you think James Madison made 39 proposals on a date with 39 numerology that became the 10 Bill of Rights, you know? Look at the measurements on Lady Liberty, you know? There's a lot of publications out there breaking down the individual measurements. I think some of these numbers will really stand out to you now if you're aware of this. Until next time, Truth Seeker.